Good morning, dear students, and welcome back to your English grammar class. We started modals in our last grammar class. Let us continue to learn more about modal auxiliaries. The first modal auxiliary that we will do today is can. Now, the modal auxiliary can is used for different purposes. For example, it is used to show ability. The example is, I can speak 3 languages. Here in the sentence, when we use the word can, it shows our ability of speaking 3 languages. Next use of can is for permission, when you want to take a permission. Can I borrow your pen, please? Next is for request, when you want to make a request to somebody. Can you wait for a moment? Next use of can is for suggestion. Example, can we order pizza tonight? Next use is for possibility. Example, it can get cold soon. The next use of can is to offer someone something. For example, I can look after the pup for you. The next modal auxiliary is could. Could is used first to show ability in the past. Now, could is the past form of can. Example, I could speak French when I was a child. Something which you did in the past, but now it is of no use. Next use of could is to seek permission. For example, could I leave early today? Next use is for probability. Example, he could have left it by mistake, presuming something. Next use is for request, for making a request. Example, could I use your phone to make a call? Next use of could is for possibility, something which can happen. Example, it could get very hot in Jaisalmer. The next use of could is to offer help. For example, I could lend my ladder for a day. Next modal auxiliary is may. May is used first for possibility, something which may happen in the future. For example, it may rain today. There is a possibility of it raining today. Next is for asking permission. Example, may I sit here, please? Next use of may is for suggestion. Example, may I help you? Offering help. Next modal auxiliary is might. Now, might is used for weak possibility. When we say it might rain today, the possibility of raining becomes very, very weak. Next modal auxiliary is will. Will is used first for polite request, for making a polite request. For example, will you help me with my homework? Asking for a help. Next use of will is for prediction, when we are making a prediction for the coming time. For example, it will rain on Friday. Next use of will is for spontaneous decision, on the spot when you decide something. Example, I will help you carry the bag. When you see someone carrying a heavy bag and you decide spontaneously that you want to help that person. Next use of will is for habits. For example, Manya will always be late. Manya has a habit of becoming late always. So we are using the auxiliary verb will to talk about her habits. The next modal auxiliary is would. Would is used for polite request. For example, would you help me carry this bag, when you're asking politely somebody for their help. Now, shall, when it is used in the first person, and will, when in used all persons, it is used to express pure future. But when shall is used in the second and third person, it expresses either a command. For example, he shall not enter my house again. Or a promise. For example, you shall have a holiday tomorrow, making a promise to someone. Or a threat. For example, you shall be punished for this. The next modal auxiliary is ought to. Ought to expresses moral obligation or desirability. For example, we ought to help the poor, or you ought to love your elders. Ought to can also be used to express probability. For example, this book ought to be very useful. The auxiliary used to expresses a discontinued habit. For example, I used to live there when I was a little girl. That's something that we used to do before, but now we don't do it. The use of modal auxiliary dare is used in negative and interrogative sentences. For example, he dare not take such a step, and how dare you contradict me.